Hi, my name is Santiago Tañón, and in this video I just want to show you how to play my latest game called Shrdlu. In a previous video I already explained a little bit what the main idea of Shrdlu is. Just to summarize, so Shrdlu is a game designed around the idea of using AI techniques from the classic AI system, also called Shrdlu, built by Terry Winograd in the 1970s, and about how can we make a game in which you can interact using natural language with the non-player characters of the game in a similar fashion as you would interact with the classic AI system Shrdlu. Okay, so I just want to show you how to play, how to interact with the game, and show you a few things. So I'm just going to click play here. So the game is set up in a science fiction setting. So when you start a game, the main character basically is in a coma or sleeping. You don't really know exactly what's happening, so you just hear a voice. And I'm just going to play very quickly through the first part, because the first part is more like a tutorial. It teaches you how to use the game, which are the control, the commands, how do you type, etc. So at the beginning, there's this tutorial text windows that show up, showing you what to do. So at the beginning, you hear a voice. The game tells you that you can just respond. So do you hear me? I'm going to say yes. And then the main character wakes up, so you find out that you are in this room, and there's this little robot talking to you, telling you things, but you're just the main player is that little character that you see in the left, laying on a bed or in a bunk bed or something. So this robot is asking me questions. The first thing is, do you remember what is your name? So the main character is confused here, so you can respond with whatever you want. You could say your name here if you want, or you could just say, no, I don't remember. It's up to you. So the main character is confused, but you can play out the game however you feel. If you say a name, then the robot will call you by that name from now on. You can change the name later on if you don't want. You can just tell them, don't call me whatever, and you can change the name, but it's fine. So the main this robot keeps asking you questions. Do you remember Aurora station? So I'm going to play as if I don't remember anything. So I'm just going to say no. Then it tells me that that's bad. You will find out later all of these things. But it tells you what is Aurora station. It is just a settlement in a planet called Aurora, and that there will be this person called a Tauin that will tell me later. All right. So it asks me to stand. The main character stands automatically. And then it asks me to walk around. This is just a tutorial so that you learn that to walk around in the game, you can just press the arrow keys, right? So you just move around with the arrow keys. The next thing, this is just a little forced, but the game just wants to teach you how to interact with objects. So I just inserted this fake strength test word. QWERTY asked me to push this chair. So to push a chair, you just hold space, press any direction, while you hold space, and then you push the chair, and that satisfies QWERTY that you are fine. So it wants to guide you to your room, so you just follow. Feel free not to follow QWERTY if you don't want, but this first part is just a tutorial, so you might as well just follow QWERTY and get over with it, so you can start the actual game. Also, if the character walks too slow for you, you can just hold Shift. If you hold Shift, you see that the character walks much faster. But anyway, so QWERTY told me that my room is room 5, and asked me to take the communicator, which is this thing that it dropped. So you just walk on top of it, press space, and you grab it. It tells me that I can talk to a Tauin with this communicator, but that I need to sleep first. And it moves aside so I can take this key, which is the key to room 5, which is mine. You cannot open any of the other rooms, but if you walk to room 5, which is yours, and you press space, then you open the door. So if you press tab, anytime you access your inventory screen, right? So right now I only have the communicator and the bedroom key that I just picked. You can also press this button here to switch from the inventory screen to the console. Also in the console, you can press these up and down arrows to scroll through the messages, or you can also press page up, page down in your keyboard to scroll through the messages. All the messages from the beginning of the game are recorded in this console, so if you miss something, you can always go back. But anyway, the first thing that they want me to do is to sleep, so the character will actually push you to go to sleep so that the story advances. So I just walk up to my bed and press space. And that concludes the tutorial, so the game now starts. So when the game starts, see, you just press space. Oops, I lost focus. You press space to get out of bed. The character says that it feels a bit better and remembers that QWERTY talked about a Towin. So it says maybe I can talk to a Towin. So at this point, this final tutorial window gives you a clue that you can just talk to a Towin by saying hi Towin. So I'm just going to say hi Towin. I can talk to a Towin directly because I have the communicator, right? So as long as I have the communicator in my inventory, I can just talk directly to a Towin. So characters in this game don't respond to you unless they know they're talking to you. So if you just say hi, nothing's going to happen because a Towin doesn't know that you're talking to a Towin. So I just say hi Towin, and now it will know that I'm talking. It says hello human, so I can say, I don't know, so who are you? Or yeah, or you can ask whatever you want, right? So it says my name is Towin, I'm an AI. So now you find out that the Towin is not a person, but it is an artificial intelligence, and it is the supervisor AI of our station. Right, so you can ask whatever you want, like, I don't know, maybe we can try to find out more. It's like, what happened? It says the stasis pod malfunctioned. So apparently we were in a stasis pod and malfunctioned, so I guess I was woken up. The robots have knowledge about certain things. It doesn't know about everything. So for example, if I say what stasis pod, it's probably not going to know what I'm talking about. It says no match is found because it doesn't actually see right now a stasis pod, and it doesn't link this with the previous question. So the NLP and the reasoning capabilities are not perfect yet. But you can ask many things. Like, for example, I can ask, where am I? I was going to say you are in room 5, which technically is true, but is not what I wanted to know. So I can ask to clarify, and where is that? It says room 5 is in our station. Notice that it actually knew that when I say that, I'm referring to room 5. So even if it doesn't always work, the NLP parser of Shrdlu tries to resolve all of these pronouns like it, he, she, that, to whatever are the most likely reference, also these, that, things like that. So it says I'm in Aurora station. I waited too long because I'm just talking. So the main character says a Towin doesn't seem very useful, and now wants to just try to see if there's someone else in the station, right? So I'm actually going to do that because that will help me advance to a point where the main character is going to stop bothering me to do it, so I can show you things of the game. So I'm just going to see if there's someone else in the station. The station is pretty big, so I'm just going to hold shift to walk faster. Every time that you walk to a different room, it would say, oh, there's no one here either. So I'm just going to keep walking to rooms. Eventually, once you visit enough rooms, it will say that, oh, there's no one here, maybe I should ask a Towin. So I'm just going, since I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to ask a Towin, is there anyone else in the station? I'll say yes. I'll say, oh, so who? So some questions, the AIs take a while to answer. So you see I inserted this message here, Towin is thinking, so that you know that the AI is thinking. That is because all of the questions are answered via a resolution engine, which is, resolution is an algorithm for doing inference in first order logic. And some of the questions actually take a while, especially questions that involve spatial relationships, like am I in the room, or am I in the station or not? Those take a while because there's a lot of predicates, there's a lot of locations in the game, so it has to reason about all of that. But anyway, so because I asked if there was anyone else in the station, it told me that this QWERTY, I was asking about people, but it actually, since I didn't specify, it told me QWERTY. And that actually triggered some event. Towin says that because of your questions, I ran an analysis, and I found out that my memory bank is anomalous, and that the memory has been erased. So I need Shrdlu to look at the memory bank would you please find Shrdlu? So I'm going to say, who is Shrdlu? It says Shrdlu is a robot and is the maintenance robot in our station. So I say, okay, so sure, I'm going to help you find Shrdlu. And it tells me that Shrdlu went to East Cave to gather minerals, but never came back. And I should take the rover to find Shrdlu, and the rover is in the garage. And the QWERTY can give me the garage key. Right? So at this point in the game, basically I should go get the garage key, try to get the rover, and go find Shrdlu. There's going to be obstacles in the way that are going to prevent me from doing that. I'm not going to solve those right now because that's part of the game. But I'm going to show you a few of the things of the game. So when I asked, is there anyone else in the station before, Etowin said yes. And when I said who, he told me that QWERTY was there, right? So I'm just going to repeat the question, this time uninterrupted by the story events. But what I meant is human. So I can say, is there any other human in this station? Right, because QWERTY was a robot. And it's gonna say no. Okay, so now I found out that I'm alone. So you can ask a few questions. Let me just show you a few of the things that you can ask for. Let me, for example, go back to my room, which I think is a smaller room and it's going to be easier. So I can say, I don't know, what is in this room? And Italian is thinking. As I was saying, some of these questions about that involve patient relationships are particularly hard, so they always take a while. And it says, okay, so in this room, there's me, there's the communicator, the bedroom key. It is funny because it tells me that the communicator is it's in the room, but I have the communicator. It's technically true. Maybe I can say what else. It sees the bookshelves, the crate, the bed. Whenever there's many answers, so I limited all the answers that are produced to 3. And if there's more than 3 possible answers, there's this dot, and you can ask what else or who else or give me more answers or things like that. So it can keep telling you, and it basically going to enumerate what else is in the room. You can also ask things like, for example, how many chairs are in this room, so it knows how to count things. It's going to be thinking about it for a little bit, and it's going to probably, I hope, conclude that there's only 1 chair in this room. So it says 1. If there was more, it would give more. For example, there was this room here where there was a lot of chairs, right? So I'm going to ask how many chairs in this room. Notice that it knows that this room is actually the room where we are at, so it can resolve to that. And I don't know how many chairs, 16, probably this 16. It also knows about spatial relationships. So I can say how many tables are east of me. And there's actually 3, so it is correct. There's actually 3 tables east of me. It knows about several predicates like near, far, east, north, west, behind, in front. It knows a little bit about this. I don't know what else. For example, it also knows how to answer where things are. So I can say, where is QWERTY? It's going to tell me QWERTY is in the infirmary. And I can say, and where is that? So this time, since that could refer to both QWERTY and infirmary, because QWERTY is a robot, so technically that can refer to QWERTY, so it doesn't actually know what am I referring to, so I will have to clarify and say, where is the infirmary? It says the infirmary is west of me, so I can actually go west. But if I didn't actually know how to go there, so I can also ask, how do I get to the infirmary? It says go to central corridor, then go west to west corridor, and then go west to the infirmary. So I go to central corridor. I can say, where am I? I'm now in central corridor, so then I have to go west to west corridor and then go west to the infirmary. So the AIs also know how to do this kind of pathfinding, and can give you instructions. For example, later in the game, you're going to have to go to a place called the power station. So I can say, how do I go to the power plant? This is a bit further, so it says go to airlock 1, go to our settlement, which is basically outside, and then go to the power plant. And since I have to go outside, it warns me that I will need a spacesuit because we are in an alien planet, so I need a spacesuit. What else can I ask the robots to do? I can also, for example, let me go back to my room. Or why not? I'm just going to do it here. So you can ask them to do things. For example, I can say, turn the lights off. And it just turned the light off. And it also, sometimes they're not very good at this, but sometimes they know reasons of things. So I can say, whoops, I just scrolled. Sorry about that. I can say, why is the light off? It does not, let's see, why is the light in this room off? It doesn't see the light in the laundry room. That is, okay. So this is a problem. I was hoping that that would work. Sometimes, like, because the light is in the edge of the room, so sometimes this light is not considered to be in the laundry room. So I just found a bug in the game live. So I'm going to have to fix that. I'm going to have to probably make the edge of this room a bit bigger. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave the lights off. Why not? But if it would have actually seen the light when I said, why is the light off? The first question it didn't understand, because when I said the light, it didn't actually see this light because it's outside the room. It was probably talking about the light in my bedroom, which is not off, so it didn't know. But if it would have referenced this properly, it would have seen the light is off because I turned the light off, right? And let me just show you a few more things. So I'm going to go to QWERTY because the Tawin cannot do too many things. It can do a few things, like it can open doors or close doors. But for example, if I can say Tawin, open this door. I don't have access, but if I would have access to this room, it would have opened the door for me. So I can ask the AIs to do things. Well, let me see. So QWERTY can do a few more interesting things. So for example, I can say, follow me, and it follows me. They know what they're doing, so I can say, what are you doing? I follow you. Let's see if it knows why. I don't even know if it knows why. Yes, so it knows that I'm following you. It's following me because I asked him. So I'm going to say, stop. Okay. What else can they do? So they can, for example, I don't know, give. Let me just say, where is the garage key? It says it has it, so hand it to me. Oh, okay. So I guess I keep finding errors while I'm playing live. So this is not in the grammar, so I'm going to have to actually add this to the grammar of the game. But I can say, give me the key. Give me the garage key. All right. So it did not resolve the key properly. It said okay, but I think when I said the key, it dereferenced it to the bedroom key, which I already had, and it said okay, but I already had it, so it had to do nothing. So give me the garage key. So it just gave me the garage key. The garage key. Let me just drop it. So I can, if I ask now, give me the garage key again, it says it doesn't have it, so whoops. But I can ask it to take it, and I'll give it to me. So they can actually do things. I can also ask them, let me bring this chair forward. For example, I can say, push the chair south. Why not? Let's say we go there and push the chair. So they can do a bunch of things. Let me see what else can they do. They can also reason about things. So for example, I can say, I'm going to ask it, am I cold? And of course, it probably doesn't know. Well, there's no reason for which it should know. So it should answer, I don't know. Oops. There's no messages. That's why. So I don't know, but I'm actually going to tell it, I am cold. And notice that I told QWERTY I am cold, so it's actually thinking. So every time you say something to them, before accepting it, they try to make sure that it's not a contradiction, because it's now going to remember it. So now if I ask, am I cold? It knows I'm cold, right? So I could say, for example, all humans are warm, right? And that's a contradiction, because it cannot be, because since I am cold, all humans are not warm, right? But if I say all humans are, I don't know, blue, whatever, it believes it's true. It doesn't actually. So QWERTY doesn't have color perception at this point. Maybe I should add some color perception, but it actually doesn't see which color I am. So so it would actually believe that. So I can say, what color, or I can just say, am I blue? And it knows I'm blue. Now I said all humans are warm, so I could just, for example, let me make up a human. I can say, who is Socrates? Does it know who is Socrates? Let me make sure it doesn't. Okay, so I can say Socrates was a human. I say, okay. So notice it said two okays. As I explained in a previous video, that is because actually I gave it two pieces of information. I said that there's something called Socrates that exists, and the other thing is that this Socrates was a human. So now I can say, is Socrates warm? Doesn't it know that I said all humans are warm? Is Socrates cold? Oh, actually, it doesn't know, because when I said all humans are warm, it actually didn't believe it. But what it believed is that all humans are blue. So I can say, is Socrates blue? And it would say yes, right? So they actually, you can tell them things like that, so they can perform inference about it. You can try to get them into contradictions. It's pretty hard to get them into a contradiction, because whenever you tell them something, they verify it. So I think you might be able to get them into a contradiction if you say the chair is in the infirmary, and then you move the chair outside. And they might remember that it's in the infirmary, but they see it outside, so that might create a contradiction. But it's actually pretty hard to get them into a contradiction. You can also do a few more interesting things. So for example, let me see, at Taoin, I can say, tell QWERTY to follow me. And then Taoin actually talked to QWERTY and asked to follow me. So I can now say QWERTY stop. So whenever Taoin talks to QWERTY, and I did this unnecessarily complex. I don't know why they decided to do this, but I thought it was interesting. So the robots talk to each other also in natural language. So when I say tell QWERTY to follow me, Taoin said, please follow the man. And QWERTY actually used the natural language parser to understand this sentence and to actually parse it and execute it. So they do not communicate in their underlying logic mechanism. They actually also communicate in natural language. So I'm actually gonna go. Sometimes there's some errors. So let me see if I go far away enough so that QWERTY forgets about me. Let's see if I say again, Taoin, tell QWERTY to follow me. I don't think this is gonna work. It did say okay. Oh, because it actually does know that I exist. So but if I say, let's see, QWERTY stop. I don't want you to follow me. Taoin, tell QWERTY to, let's say, go to the rover. To go, tell QWERTY to go. Let's see, to pick up the rover. QWERTY to pick up the rover. I don't understand why it's not understanding. But anyway, as you can see, sometimes the natural language parsing is not perfect. So, but this is actually great, because I just discovered during this playthrough at least 3-4 things that the grammar is not understanding. So I'm actually going to fix those right away. So hopefully in the version that I publish of version 2.5, this will be fixed. But as you can see, so you can ask the robots to do very interesting things. You can also, for example, say query, if you want to get somewhere and you don't know how to do, like, I don't know, take me to the kitchen. Okay. So, and then you can just follow it and it will take you to the kitchen. I can, if I stop, it actually stops for you, waits for you. I'm going to press shift just to walk a bit faster. You can just follow it and go to the kitchen. Thank you. Listen to me. So sometimes, and actually I think I have to change this. So I think, okay, so there's another sentence that it actually didn't understand. It understood that I was asking to thank himself or itself. So probably there's another sentence I need to increase. I need to expand in the grammar. There's also a lot of things you can interact with in the space station. For example, there's the stoves that you can turn on and off. Throwing lights on. So in this room, like, I don't know, there's things like, I don't know, I can, for example, take a water bottle, why not? And I can just drink it. There's a sausage. I could actually cook the sausage in the stove. You can do many things. All of those things probably are useless in the game, but I just added them as some kind of simulation component, so you feel you are actually in the station. So anyway, so that's basically what I wanted to show you, just to show you how to play the game. Hopefully this helps you in figuring out the limits of the current natural language parsing. I'm improving it version by version. So every time you play the game, actually, if you press S, you can of course save and load the game. But if you click on this button, generate debug log, this will download a file. And this file is basically a record of all the things you did in the game, including all the things that you wrote and whether the system understood them or not. So every time I have someone play the game, one of the beta testers, so I ask them to send me this debug log. So I'm improving, growing the grammar bit by bit. So version by version, the system actually understands more and more sentences. So after this playthrough, there was 4 or 5 sentences it didn't understand. I'm going to actually add them to the grammar. In the current version, I don't know if you noticed at the start, when you start the game, it says Act 1 alone. So the game consists of three acts. The story has 3 acts. In the demo that is online, only Act 1 is activated, but in the version I'm working on, Act 2 is almost finished as well, and then Act 3 I will finish after that. So the game will then be complete. Act 2 is the most interesting AI-wise. So you will have to interact much more with the robots. In Act 1, basically, you start figuring things out. You just have to get a hold of how to interact with the robots and get out of the station, get the rover on. And then in Act 2, you start exploring the planet. You find Shrdlu. Shrdlu is the most interesting robot. You can talk to it, ask to do things. Shrdlu will also ask you a lot of questions because it has doubts about itself. But anyway, I hope you enjoy playing the game. I don't know if it's fun or not, but I think it's a fun experiment just to try to see what kind of gameplay can be achieved with this Shrdlu-like 1980s good old-fashioned AI techniques. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.